I know what you guys are thinking. Not near any MRT can buy meh? Might as well buy Sky at Holland or Penreef that is near Holland Village and Queenstown MRT respectively. Well, just give me 10 minutes if you watch at 1.5 times speed and you'll understand why Faber Residence could be the most underrated development in the whole of 2025. Alright, let's go! In case you are not familiar, I use my IPA framework to guide my clients in evaluating a development holistically based on these 5 factors. Number 1, location and amenities. Number 2, facilities and quality. Number 3, demand versus supply in the area. Number 4, pricing versus surrounding developments. And finally, layout. And an overall score will be given at the end. Feel free to check out my previous video at the top right hand corner to see how I use the IPA framework to evaluate a project like 𝗵𝗵𝗶𝗲𝗲. By the way, I've also compiled a list of all the balanced new launch inventory with their respective price range. If you would like to have a copy of the PDF, just click on the link in the description below and I'll be happy to send it across. Alright, first up, let's evaluate the location of Faber Residence. When you see the marketing materials say that the development is very peaceful, very tranquil, usually you can already guess the condo might not be the most accessible. Doesn't help when the name of the park connector right next to you is called 𝗰𝗵𝗶𝗲𝗲. So where exactly is Faber Residence? It is situated within the Faber Hills landed enclave that is located in between Jurong East and Clementi. It sits right next to waterfront at Faber and right opposite Park Rivera across the AYE. Even though it is not exactly near the MRT station, it is still walkable to the upcoming Jurong Town Hall MRT on the Jurong Region line, expected to be completed in stages from 2027 to 2029. There will be a side gate next to the park connector. According to Google Maps, it will take you about 13 minutes from the side gate to the new MRT station near the German Centre. With regard to amenities nearby, we have a mini NTUC FairPrice located within Twinville. There's also a coffee shop, Bak Kut Teh restaurant and some other eateries at Block 415-416 Pandan Gardens. At New West Mall, you can also find a number of F&B options and enrichment centres for your kids. Lastly, there's also some cafes and restaurants along Faber Drive. I know all this doesn't really sound very exciting or within short walking distance. Because of that, I'm only going to give it a score of 5 out of 10 for location and amenities. But if you can accept this, I promise you, the rest of the factors will only get better. Next up, let's evaluate the facilities and quality at Faber Residence, which is opening for preview very soon on 3rd October. Developed by GoCo Land and TID Residential, a joint venture between Hong Leong and Mitsui Fudosan, it is the same partnership that has delivered time and time again. Hence, you can be assured of the quality and standards you are getting. Faber Residence comes with 399 units and it sits on a plot ratio of 1.4, which means a maximum of 5 stories with a massive site area of more than 270,000 square feet. This means that it is one of the lowest density developments in the area. Even Park Clementi, which is known for its expansive land area, is actually more dense versus Faber Residence. With a very low density development, residents will get to enjoy a more peaceful living environment. The development is seamlessly integrated into its lush and natural surroundings, where residents get to have direct access to the 𝗰𝗵𝗶𝗲𝗲 Park Connector and the new Jurong Town Hall Park Connector. We are also getting full condo facilities with a multi-purpose court, function rooms, indoor gym, a 50-meter lap pool, 25-meter leisure pool and so many more within the development. And there is one big bonus factor. The expected TOP date could be as early as 4th quarter 2028. That's only about 3 years from now, which is one of the shortest waiting time I've seen in recent years. However, I'm quite disappointed with the block-to-block distance of only 20 to 29 meters, which might make the whole development feel a bit claustrophobic. On balance, I'm going to give it a score of 7 out of 10. However, the dilemma will come if you want to go for the premium waterfront facing units. That's because these units will be facing northwest, which means you'll be getting the afternoon sun. The saving grace is the fact that this is a low-rise development, so the impact of the afternoon sun will not be as significant. There will also be units facing the AYE, and naturally these units will be accompanied by the road noise. If profitability is important for you, we will also have to evaluate how much premium the developer charges for the waterfront facing units versus the inward facing units versus the expressway facing units. If the price difference is significant, there has been previous case studies whereby the expressway facing units actually profited more due to their lower entry price. However, if the price difference is minimal, then the premium facing units might be more worthwhile.
The thing is, you will only know the actual prices on the booking day itself. With only about 30 minutes, you need to compare the pricing across different stacks and different floor levels. And that's why it's very important to go in with a proper game plan and with someone that is experienced enough to analyze clearly under pressure. This is an example of an analysis based on the different price scenarios which I've do up for my clients even before the booking day, so that we can be well prepared on the actual day itself. If you'd like to find out and discuss more about the strategies I have for unit selection, feel free to contact me at 94515625 and I'll be happy to advise further. Next up, let's look at demand versus supply. Let's first quantitatively evaluate the demand in the area using our very own demand ratio analysis. Based on my formula, a high demand ratio will suggest that there is strong demand in the area because there are more units that have already been transacted recently compared to the number of units that are currently still available in the market. So here are the developments that I have shortlisted that are the most comparable to Faber Residence, namely Whistler Grand, Twinview, Park Riviera, Park Clementes, the Tri-Link and Waterfront at Faber. With that in place, I tabulated the overall demand ratio of these developments across the different unit types. And you can see very clearly that the demand ratio comes in extremely strongly at around 150% or more across the 4-bedders, 3-bedders and 2-bedders. It also comes in pretty consistently across all developments. This is one of the best results I've seen a particular region performing, and it's not surprising because I can already foresee future demand coming from these 4 groups of buyers. Number 1, parents looking to enroll their kids in the highly coveted Nanhua Primary School, which is one common factor amongst the shortlisted developments we've seen earlier. Number 2, HDB upgraders in the West, and these are not just your normal upgraders. These are $1 million HDB upgraders where a 4-room flat in Clementi was transacted at $1.28 million and a 5-room flat at a staggering $1.459 million. Thirdly, there's also a sizable community in the West Coast and Faber Hills landed estate that might be looking to downsize to the condos nearby. Finally, there will also be investors looking to capitalize on the growth potential of the Jurong Lake District. Coming to supply, I'm using the supply ratio, which is the number of listings that are currently on sale divided by the total number of units in the development to measure the extent of supply. In this case, the lower the supply ratio the better, as it will indicate that there's very little competition in the market. And as expected, we have very low supply ratios across the board for the 4-bedders and the 3-bedders. For the 2-bedders, it is just slightly higher than the rest, but still in a very healthy range. If I look at the entire West region, there's only about 60,000 private and EC stock versus 273,000 of HDB stock. Overall, it is very clear that the demand outstrips supply in the area, which means there's a very clear and safe path for your exit strategy. Hence, I'm going to give it a pretty strong score of 9.5 out of 10. By the way, I hope you have found the above information useful so far. If so, I would really appreciate if you can help me by clicking on the like button and subscribing to my channel. A number of my YouTube viewers have also reached out to me in person, and I'm glad I was able to advise them. If you also have burning questions, don't be shy. Feel free to contact me on WhatsApp at 94515625 and I'll be happy to explain further. Alright, back to the video. Next up, let's evaluate Faber Residence's pricing. The closest benchmark will definitely be Springleaf Residence, which was recently launched, as both plots of land were bidded by the same developer at almost the same price. Given that Springleaf Residence was launched at an average price of 2175 PSF, which achieved a staggering 92% sales by the way, I would estimate Faber Residence's pricing to be more or less around the same price range. Using our price gap analysis, let's look at how this compares versus the prices of the surrounding neighbours, which I have compiled here. As you would know by now, I will need to adjust their average price upwards by 6% to take into account the harmonization effect. After which, I calculated what is Faber Residence's absolute premium versus these resale developments, and I would like to highlight that this brand new launch is expected to be cheaper than Park Clementes, even though it is a good 5 years newer and just a mere 3 minutes drive away. How often do we see that? Next, after taking into account their difference in age, I calculated Faber Residence's premium versus its surrounding neighbours, and it comes in at a pretty narrow average price gap of only 39 PSF per year. Faber Residence's average price of 2175 PSF is also significantly lower compared to recent launches in the area such as Alta and Jayden at about 2500 PSF on average. Not to mention, future prices of launches in the Jurong Lake District will likely be even higher than that. Some of you might be thinking, yes, I know the price is cheap, but can I really make money if it's not near MRT or amenities? Let's look at 3 other equally ulu developments: Treasure at Tampines, Whistler Grand, and Key Residences, which is actually even deeper in. Just take a look at their annualized gains. I think the numbers speak for itself. And why did these developments profited so much even though they are not near the MRT? That's because they were all launched at a very attractive entry price versus their surrounding developments back then. And we are seeing history repeating itself for Faber Residence. Because of that, I'm going to give a scoring of 9 out of 10 for pricing. Finally, coming to layout, let's first take a look at the 2-bedders. Faber Residence comes in at 646 square feet, while next door neighbour Waterfront at Faber has a size of 721 square feet, but do take note that it falls under the pre-harmonization era, so it includes the aircon ledge space, which is less efficient. I like that both kitchens are nicely tucked in one corner, so you can try to enclose it if you want to. Waterfront at Faber has the added advantage of having a home shelter which you can use for storage. However, a big difference is the fact that Faber Residence comes with 2 bathrooms, while Waterfront at Faber only has 1 bathroom, even though technically it has a bigger floor area. In addition, Waterfront at Faber's common bedroom comes with a loft design with a staircase at the side, which actually makes the lower deck as well as the mattress area on the upper deck feel a lot more cramped. So definitely I'll go with Faber Residence for this one. Coming to the 3-bedroom premium, both layouts have a size of 1033 square feet, but again Faber Residence is more efficient as it doesn't include the aircon ledge space. Both kitchens are pretty spacious and come with a home shelter for storage. Faber Residence has a huge advantage of having an extra flexi room, so it can actually be seen as a 3+ study. On the other hand, Waterfront at Faber has a balcony that I feel is too big, and its common bathroom doesn't come with window for ventilation. Its common bedroom also has a loft design which is not the most popular. Hence, I'm also going to go with Faber Residence for this one. Last of all, coming to the 4-bedroom, let's first take a look at Waterfront at Faber's layout, which stands at 1261 square feet. I like that there's flexibility to cut away bedroom 1's wall to create a bigger living area if necessary. The common bedrooms are also decent sized. However, its balcony actually spans across the living room and 2 bedrooms, which I feel is too long. You also have 3 common bedrooms sharing 1 bathroom, which definitely isn't enough during peak hours, and it doesn't come with window for ventilation. In addition, the master bedroom pales in comparison versus Faber Residence, which I'll show you in a while. So coming to Faber Residence, it has a pretty good size of 1270 square feet. I like the spacious dry and wet kitchen area. I also like the fact that you can expand the living area by hacking bedroom 4's wall. The common bedrooms are pretty sizable as well. And best of all, you have a generous master bedroom with space for walk-in wardrobe and dressing table. The only downside is that 3 common bedrooms have to share 1 bathroom, and it doesn't come with natural ventilation too. Notwithstanding, I must say I can't find much fault with Faber Residence's layouts, and so I'll give it a pretty good score of 9 out of 10. All in all, as mentioned earlier, if you can accept Faber Residence's location and lack of amenities, it actually scores very well in all other aspects. As a result, my overall score for this development actually comes in pretty strongly at 7.9 out of 10. Hence, I definitely feel Faber Residence deserves more attention given its upside potential. Let me know in the comments below if you agree or disagree with my evaluation. And with that, thank you so much for staying till the end. If you'd like to have more first-hand information or my advice on unit selection, feel free to reach out to me at 9451 5625 and I'll be happy to advise further. Once again, I'm Sean and I'll see you soon.